Right, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome via Zoom to this program someone who I think the whole world should be ready and buzzing to listen to. His name is Ziza Form. Welcome again. He's standing by. Hello, good morning, my brother.
Yeah, good morning, sir. How's everything going?
Ziza, how far? How you doing?
I did
How are
find
you?
you. Well done, sir. It's valid to you. Well done.
All right. How's it over there? The weather in Lagos is really, really hot. How's the weather over there?
Well, actually, presently, in Maiduguri, I came from something here. So Maiduguri is really hot. The Sahara Desert is really, I think it's hot. I can't compare it to Lagos, but I think it's moderately hot. Sahara Desert, you can see that that one is hot, of course.
All right, nice one. Quickly, let's tell you about the man we have here. His name is Ziza Form, and he's a poetic nurse. His full names are Ishaya Abednego Form, and they call him already AI. He has his brand. His brand is called Bountiful Works, and of course, he was born on the 18th of March. He is, of course, from Plateau State, Nigeria. Now, Ziza Form is a multifaceted Nigerian artist whose creative expression bridges the worlds of poetry, music, and movement, the healing essence of nursing. I'll go further by telling you that as a poetic nurse, he breathes life into spoken words, infusing Arewa Hausa, street pidgin, and English with rhythmic storytelling and profound reflections on life, mental health, and spirituality. Now, beyond poetry, Ziza is a singer and a contortionist, stretching both body and mind in his art. His work is deeply rooted in the philosophy of Bountiful Works, a brand dedicated to creativity, impact, and transformation. With a background in nutrition and mental health nursing, he crafts narrative that heal, uplift, and inspire, making his art a conduct for both emotional and psychological well-being. Ziza's creative journey thrives on engagement, evidence in projects like Poetnos, poetry collections, and his upcoming spoken word EP, Already AI, set to drop on March 18th, 2025, which has dropped already. It's testament to his signature poetic style and vision. His forthcoming projects, 15 Fridays free verse and 30 Thursdays therapy, further cements his dedication to blending art with healing, from spoken words to soulful melodies. Ziza Form is a voice of resilience and creativity, an artist, a healer, a storyteller, already and always. So, you know who the man is. We're just going to ask him a couple of questions as we run fast against time. Now, welcome back, Ziza, aka the Poetic Nurse. Yes, how did you come up with that name, Poetic Nurse? And when did you realize that healing could happen through therapy?
So, actually, since when I was in secondary school, I had the passion of being a medical line. So I found myself in nursing. I wouldn't say I choose nursing, but nursing chose me. Even poetry chose me. I didn't choose both of those. So actually, along the line, when I was in nursing and knowing myself as a poet since when I was in secondary school, I've been writing, but I've not taken the stage that time. But I come to realize that the words too can heal. And from the definition of our nursing, we say our health. Health is not just the physical sickness you heal. There's mental, there's social, there's spiritual well-being. All these ones come together to make a person healthy. It's not just about the physical sickness we see in hospitals. Even psychologically, someone can be sick and then he's not healthy, but you see him walking around. So I feel okay, my words as a poet and then as a nurse, how do I merge this together? So I have the power to physical in the hospital only, or anywhere, or interacting with people.
Right here is back. All right, go on.
Yeah. So I came to realize that my words too can be a healing balm for someone. The stories I tell, the poetry I do, the songs I sing, it can also be healing. It can also be interrelated to the nursing profession I do, not just caring for someone in the hospital that's on sick bed, but even in the surrounding, there are people that are facing a lot mentally, socially, spiritually, in different ways. You can, my words is also healing to them. So that's how I tend to merge it together. And presently, I'm not just a nurse, I'm also a mental health nurse. So all these aspects of talking about addiction, stress, depression, all these things as a mental health nurse, I feel speaking about them too in my poems is also equally important. So that's why I feel poetic nurse is the best name I should go with. Like it merged together. Yes, sir.
Already AI is such a catchy phrase. What's the story behind it, and how does it reflect your voice and your
Actually,
vibe?
as you say, already AI. Yeah, in the general sense, it's already AI, but in the north, I'm from North Northern and we have this Hausa and English. So AI is actually like saying I already I. So in Hausa, there's something that if you say something and you say I, it's like a confirmation or an affirmation of what you said. So already is seeing the what I've conquered in the past, the present, and in the future. Everything is about victory. So you too can conquer it. All of us can conquer. So when someone says something, I say already, it's a confirmation and also a word of affirmation and belief and positivity. So that's that. So already I is like already I, not already AI. It also goes with that, but then the AI signifies a word like it's shall I say an exclamation or a confirmation. Already I, yeah, that's that.
Hausa, you also fuse street pidgin and English into some of the stuff you do, the spoken words. Now, how do you decide? At what point do you decide what language fits into a piece? And do the words speak first, or do the beats come later?
Actually, when I decided to use that, actually I was using fluent English in my piece, but I come to realize that the people around, there was a time I went for an event and then it was elderly people that not sorry to say, but they are not that, they don't know English that much. Elderly women, elderly men. And I was doing the fluent English poetry, but they are not relating to it. There are just few young people there. So when I just switched to freestyle, I just started freestyling in Hausa. And the way they just accepted it and embraced it, it was massive. And then at a point in time, sometimes I go to a certain streets, maybe the ghettos or the streets, I'm doing a poem about something, doing the fluent English, but when you just fuse it with that pidgin English, the youths tend to connect with it, especially here in Nigeria. You go into pidgin English, wow, the acceptance will be massive. So that was what made me to say, okay, if I want to relate to people, let me master these three languages, the fluent English, the pidgin English, and also the Hausa, since I'm from this area where Hausa is also dominant. So once I'm doing a poem or when I'm invited, I tend to now imagine, okay, this audience, this is what we need. So I'll now write based on that. If it is young people that I know that speaking English will do well, I do that. If it is Hausa, I also if it's that sometimes I mix the three all together in one piece. So it determines based on the audience I'm meeting. So that's what determines what language I use in writing my poems.
That's beautiful. Now, as a mental health nurse, how does your medical knowledge influence your storytelling? Now, this brings me to the very important question: can poetry be a form of therapy?
So poetry is a therapy. First of all, to me, it's a therapy to me as a person, as an individual. Poetry is a therapy to me. Sometimes there are some stress or anger or something, some emotions come to me, and then the way of dealing with that, mostly I write them down. And writing it or maybe rehearsing it in the front of mirrors, like I'm telling myself, affirming certain things. So first is to me. Then I also believe that the same way it helped me, it will help someone out there. So people are struggling out there with addictions, with stress, with depressions. So with my knowledge and the ability, the skill of writing poetry, I tend to think of that and then write it in a way that will also communicate to someone. So, like empathy, putting myself in that person's shoe and then speaking to the person too. So I feel mental health is very, very key to me because, like I said, after my free verse, 15 Fridays free verse, is 13 Thursdays therapies. So there I will talk about mental challenges like stress, like addictions, a lot of things. So after talking about them, I might be dropping a piece alongside, so it will go together. So that's how I feel it. So it's personally to me a healing, and then I believe a lot of people out there need that therapy. And me talking, there's what we call talking therapy. There's also what we call counseling. So counseling is formal. You invite the person, you set goals, you put timing and all those stuff. But talking therapy, you can just meet someone, maybe you're walking or in the car or somewhere, you just talk. So I feel poetry too. I mustn't be on stage. I might be with someone walking along and I'll just be talking to him. It mustn't be the strict poetry kind of stuff. So talking therapy, I take poetry as a talking therapy to me. I might be on stage and then I don't know which words the person will accept or will connect to. So I just go ahead and speak my mind. And of a truth, there are a lot of testimonies coming. Even yesterday, someone was telling me that, I saw 2 missed calls in the morning. When I called back, he's telling me a lady told him that she has been listening to my poems back to back. There was a particular one that I did that she said she clinged to that one and she kept listening to it. And so I feel it's a therapy. You don't know which one someone will just pick interest in and will help that person personally. So that's that.
All right, nice one. Now, in Nigeria, there's something that we understand to be or is known as depression. Now, so many youngins in Nigeria are going through that phase. Also, people, I heard the other day that a guy who was serving at this bar that we usually go to get drinks and eat food, that he was serving and he just slumped. Now, unknown to any of us, he had problems back home in Cameroon. His mom was really sick and he didn't have enough money to send to her, and it was really weighing him down. He messed with his BP and all that, and he slumped. Now, a whole lot of Nigerians, whether you like it or not, in fact, 80% of Nigerians should be going through depression because of what we are facing right now. How do you, what words would be passionate enough for you to speak into the lives of somebody like that who's watching or who's listening to us right now?
Actually, the keyword here I will talk about is empathy. And that empathy is putting yourself in someone's shoe. And then the best way of empathy is if you have ever experienced it. So we're all in Nigeria, we're experiencing different challenges here and there. So it's for you to make the person understand that, yes, you're not demeaning his feelings. Because now if you enter social media and someone said he's feeling depressed or just said some depressing words, that the person, maybe it may be a suicidal note, and then people will begin to catch cruise with it in Nigeria. I'll start looking at it like it's nothing. So I feel that's why some people die in silence, because they feel voicing out, people will start catching cruise or belittling what they are feeling, or start judging them, or start saying they are not the only ones facing that, or all those kind of remarks makes someone to say, let me just hold back and deal with my stuff, until he gets to the bottleneck where he cannot bear it anymore. So he just gave it up and just gave up the ghost. So for me as a mental health nurse, I have this knowledge of stigma, knowledge of people being belittled, or knowledge of not being judgmental, not being sentimental, and embracing whatever someone said. If you listen, you find there are keywords that are really helpful in your therapy or helping that person. So most times you belittle that, but as a mental health nurse, no, that's even wrong of me to start putting stigma or judging someone, no matter how little. They say there's pain threshold. What is painful to someone? Someone's own may just be something little that will just break that person down. Someone needs higher level of. So because you're own here and then you feel you can cope with it, and someone here couldn't cope with his own, doesn't mean that you're anywhere better than him. So we are all individuals, we are all human beings. What will pain you may not be what will pain someone, and what someone can cope with may not be what you can cope with. So no matter how little it is, we cannot say it's little. the mental health, we still take care of that, no matter how the person presents it.
The very basic saying says, and I quote, charity begins at home. So for you, Ziza, from what's one poem that you've written that truly changed you, like changed your perspective on how you see life, or truly saved your sanity? All right, you're a poetic nurse. Charity begins at home. For yourself, what's that poem that you wrote for yourself or for someone? I don't know, but the poem actually turned and worked for you. It actually healed you or gave you some sense of reasoning and sanity. Which one was that?
So actually, I would say there's a particular piece. I wrote it in Hausa. It's in Hausa. So that one spoke about how someone grew up in the ghetto, in the streets where there are a lot of things going on. Like you see prostitutions, you see drunkenness, addictions, fights here and there. It's a slum actually. So that's where I grew up. So the story is actually my story, and then my brothers and a couple of us that grew up there. So the things we faced there, subsequently we were able to get out of it. And then some of us were not victims of that directly. Some of us fell along the line. We turned to the positive way of life. So I think that's the major piece that touched me, because it's also encouraging that I feel that, okay, since we're able to go through this, and how about going back to that same street and tell others that they can do it too? So to me, it's really encouraging that not just me, not just we conquering, but also to help us to be empathetic, to have that empathy, trying to help someone that is in that same situation, that he can get out of such addictions, such slums. From that gutters, he can go up to become something great in the future, not just because you're just born in there. We tend to make excuses when we are born in such environments. We make excuses that, well, this is what, maybe that's what where God wants me to be, but it's not always like that. You can always trust that something better can come out of it. No matter how small or how dirty the gutter is, be like the lotus flower. So no matter how the gutter is or the mud is, just trust that you bring out a beautiful flower from that. So that story really touched not just me, my siblings, even people from that area. And I'm hoping during my 13,000 therapies, I'll go to that particular area alongside other areas that are facing such challenges of addiction, such challenges of, let's say, prostitution, a lot of negative things as we call it. So we go there, encourage them, try to tell them, okay, this is based on our story, this is what we face, and then we're able to go over it. We believe you too can go over it. We know it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. So that's the plan for the 13,000 therapy as well. And also that particular poem will be the major poem that I will go in there with. Recite it to them. We also talk to them. If there's any help they need beyond our ability, we forward them. If it is rehabilitations, we try to get organizations that will be willing to support or sponsor or invest in that movement. So we tend to have more people. There are people out there that they wish to stop what they are doing, but they couldn't stop. But if there could be a help, and then there's a movement that goes that way, I think it will go a long way.
All right, thank you so much. As we wrap up the show, give us where and how we can download your materials, and then quickly give us your social media handles.
Okay, my social media handles, you can check Ziza Form on Facebook, on TikTok, check it on YouTube, check me on Instagram. If you check, put Ziza Form, Ziza, Ziza, then FOM, Ziza Form. If you check, it's the same name on all platforms, on Twitter, all the handles. And then if you go to my Facebook or YouTube page, you see the links are there. The links to all the other channels, you find them there on my Facebook profile or on my YouTube page. Thank you. So you check Ziza Form everywhere, on Facebook, on YouTube, and all other platforms, Instagram.
All right, 1 minute before I let you go. Ziza Vom, poetic nurse. What legacy, 1 minute, what legacy do you hope to leave behind?
But The legacy I would say I hold is mostly from my profession as a nurse. I think there are a lot of things that we have achieved that sometimes we don't go out broadcasting it, but yes, we are seeing impacts every day. You bring someone that is almost near death and then he comes back. We believe God is a healer, but then that care you give, it may be small. They may forget what you say, but how you make them feel, it's not really that easy. So you just have to try and do your best. The impacts are really the testimonies coming. And then so far, we are really hoping not just for our own awards or whatever we can achieve in this life, but then helping someone in the most little way, the kindness that you give in a little way, that care. Nothing is caring, so I believe I'm caring. Even in my words, I speak words of care. So I feel that's really impactful and a legacy for me. That yes, even in the afterlife, if there is, I'll really appreciate, and then I'll be happy with myself that yes, I'm able to save life with my words, with the work that I do, and everything. So it's really a legacy for me, actually.
All right, Ziza. Ziza Vom, thank you so much for honoring me and WhatsApp and Galaxy Television on the show. I really enjoyed talking with you, and I'm sure a whole lot of people felt the love. Now, a whole lot of people are going through troubles, problems in Nigeria that they cannot fix, but hopefully, listening to you has brought a new perspective. I want to say thank you for giving us your all. God bless you. We hope when we do call on you next time, you'll be able to come through. Big shout out to you. Thank you to your team.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone who does the poetic thing with you, the music, you being an entrepreneur too, a stretch artist, whatever it is. God bless you now. God bless you forever. Thank you so much for being on the show. All right.